Filme Shilmy has been very fortunate to have been joined by some finest talents, musical talents that we have in the Indian film industry. And another such artist that is joining us today is, of course, Harshdeep Kaur, who is set to rock the UK with her tour in London and Birmingham. So it's wonderful, Harshdeep. Thank you so much for joining us on filmishilmy.com, and it's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, Anuj. Thank you for having me.
Wonderful. So, Harshdeep, as I was saying to you just before we started our interview, is that the last time I saw you perform was in 2015 at the Royal Festival Hall, and that was
Wow.
when you were with other wonderful music talents, and now you're set to perform again on your own. But I mean, look, it's a very familiar place for you, right? You kind of have managed to capture and understand the pulse of the audiences. But yet, do you ever find that there is something always so novel about the times that you do perform? And what are those observations that really kind of make that experience very novel for you as an artist?
Well, as an artist, I love performing live, and every audience is different. Every venue is different. Every concert is different. So sometimes you have to gauge what the audience is trying to tell you. I look at their faces, I look at their reactions, I feel their response.
Yeah.
So every time it's like a roller coaster ride. So there's a certain nervousness before you actually go on stage, and then you gradually warm up to the audience. So the entire experience is actually very novel every time. And especially when it comes to London, the best part is that London has a very multicultural audience. You'll have people from different countries. You'll see Indians in the audience. You'll see locals. You'll see Pakistanis. You'll see people from Bangladesh, and people who have migrated from different countries. So it's a very mixed audience. So
Mm.
that makes it even more interesting. And as an entertainer, I feel it is important to cater to all of them. You also might find people from different age groups. So that's where the homework comes in handy. So we do a lot of homework on our set list, the choice of songs, and the kind of music that people would enjoy. So yeah, it's a very it's not an easy job, but it's a great experience. The entire journey till reaching the stage and then making it a success, it's a wonderful journey.
Oh, wonderful. No, for sure. I think it's interesting that you mentioned that because I think, the UK definitely is such a beautiful melting pot of different cultures and from different walks of life. But I think when we talk about melting pot of different sort of um, experiences or trainings, shall we say, you definitely represent that because you've obviously, I believe, grown up with very strong roots in classical, Hindustani classical, as well as
Yes.
you've also learned Western classical too.
Right.
So again, even though classical is the main route, but yet the worlds are quite significantly different, right? So how have you, I think, managed to find your identity as an artist amongst these two different or distinguished sort of training sets that you've had?
Well, it's very important to be trained in the craft that you're going to follow for your life. So that's why I trained myself in Indian classical and Western classical. Initially, yes, because I wanted to sing for films. Because when you listen to film music, you won't hear just Indian style of singing. You'll also hear songs that are very Western or would have a very uh, peppy vibe. There's a lot of acting involved. So I feel the main requirement of a good playback singer is how versatile you are and how you can sing for different situations that come up in a movie. So that was the motive behind learning different styles of music. But it helps me a lot in singing on stage, on live shows, and finding my identity. I would always say, people ask me, what kind of music do you enjoy doing and what's your
Hmm.
personal favorite? I just say, I want to do good music. It doesn't really matter what genre it is. It should be something that makes me connect to the audience. So if you come to my concert, you'll see a huge variety of music. There'll be Sufi music, there'll be Punjabi folk music, there'll be Bollywood music, and some songs have very Western arrangements,
Hmm.
and there are some unplugged songs as well. So you'll see a huge variety of songs. So my identity, I would be saying that something, uh, which people would always reminisce. Oh, Harshdeep's voice, it's very soulful. It connects us. So the basic uh, motive is the same. Whichever song I sing, I always make sure that it should be sung with love and a lot of feel, and that's what I want to be known for. That whatever Harshdeep sings, we connect with it. So that's where I find my identity. Ki jo bhi gaun, it should be soulful.
Gee, I think soulful has definitely been a very important aspect actually about you. And I'm glad you mentioned that because, uh, I remember my first time hearing you actually was in Rang De Basanti, for Ik Onkar, when you recited the Ik Onkar. And honestly, I have to tell you, um, because of that Ik Onkar from Rang De Basanti, it actually brought me so much closer to Sikhism and to really understanding our cultural roots. But when I heard your voice, it actually presented to me what a spiritual voice meant when it comes to the mainstream commercial side of Hindi cinema. When you do it, there is that mitti, Punjab ki mitti, but then also that mithas that one has. Uh, when was the time when you realized that, spirituality and sort of singing through and reaching through the divine was something which, struck a chord with you? When would you say was the earliest time in your life where you realized that?
Well, being born in a Punjabi household, in a Sikh house, my mother used to sing a lot of shabads for me. And even in, my old house in Delhi, there was a gurdwara right behind our house. So every morning we used to wake up to the voice of Paiji singing shabads. So that was my first introduction. And, as parents also feel very proud when their children go to the gurdwara and they play the harmonium and sing shabads and do kirtan. तो उनको बड़ी proud feeling आती है. So that's when I started learning shabads, and I used to feel a sense of comfort whenever I sang Gurbani music or any shabad. I
Hmm.
just felt that it is happening naturally. Sometimes you feel, how will I sing this song, or how will I sing this shabad? But when you start singing it, then I feel it is not you. It is God singing through you. And it is said that the best way to reach God or to connect to God is music. And
Hmm.
what better than spiritual music? So whenever I'm doing spiritual music or shabad or even a bhajan or a Sufi Kawali, it somehow, connects me to the Almighty, and everything starts happening on its own. And because you can feel it, the listener can also feel it.
Yeah, actually, जब आपने ये सब बोला ना मेरे को एक टप्पा याद आ गया. I think there was this. It was called मैं नहीं बोल दी मेरे ते मेरे यार बोल दा. It's a very
Yeah.
beautiful, beautiful.
Surjeet Bindrakhya's song.
Oh,
Yeah.
such a beautiful, oh, amazing. But I think it's quite interesting, and I think that's why it makes so much sense. Why, let's just reference the songs that you have sung, for example, with Rahman sir at least, Heer and Katiya Karun. I mean, these are romantic songs, right? In if one looks at the situation of the film, and but yet there is something very much as if you're almost communicating with the Almighty in that. I think let's spotlight this and talk about that rapport that you have with Mr. Rahman, because I think if there is anyone who has captured the essence of spirituality and divinity in mainstream Indian music, it is him. So if you could please talk to me a bit about that, and how do you think that might have also really enhanced this sort of connection that you had anyway, with spirituality?
Well, Rahman sir is known for his spiritual side. There is a certain spirituality in all his songs. Even if it is not a spiritual song, you'll find that peace somewhere that, you can imagine him composing that song in a very beautiful atmosphere with candles burning around him. And, he mostly works in the night. So you can feel that in his songs. And especially when he does um, uh, spiritual songs, Sufi songs, you can feel that they sound so divine. And working with him has been one of the best experiences of my life. It was always my dream to sing for A.R. Rahman sir, and it has happened so many times. I just thank God for my stars that I met him, I worked with him, I've toured with him so much, and there's so much to learn from him. Even when we were recording Katya Karun, although it's a very a happy Punjabi Bhangra song. When I was recording that song, he was playing some guitar pieces on the keys. There's a middle section in the song, and I just felt like singing a Sufi kalam on those chords.
Oh,
And
okay.
that's when I told him, sir, when you were playing those chords, I remembered a very old Sufi song, Sufi kalam by Sultan Bahu. Can I sing it for you? He said, okay. He said, wait. So I said, oh no, why did I give this suggestion to him? I felt a little embarrassed. But then when we finished Katiya Karun, then he told me, okay, what was that Sufi Kalam you told me? Let's record that. So he again played that part and he told me to sing those lines on that part. And that's where the part in the song Katiya Karu comes in. It's like, एक तन मेरा चरखा होए. So that's the part that I, randomly started singing, and even he loved it, and he kept it as it is in the song. So it's again, find divinity even in regular songs, and
Oh,
he kept it. So
oh,
that's the story of Katya Guru.
that's absolutely beautiful. I think again, it really went with the whole sort of feel of what Rockstar really was
So
about.
that made the love song a divine song. When you see your beloved in God, and when you see God in your beloved. So that portion of that song gave Katya Karu a very Sufiana touch, gave it a very spiritual touch.
100%. But we were
Mm.
talking about identity, Harshdeep, and
Yeah.
I think that it's quite interesting because I feel like every time we talk about breaking through into the industry, people are like, oh, I want to do something differently. I want to be different. But I think what people fail to understand is that you cannot attempt to be different. You have to just be yourself, and whether people accept you or not is a very secondary thing. How would you I mean, I don't want to go into the whole sort of cliche topic about the challenges you've had to go through to break through and to reach this far, but in terms of staying determined and not easily trying to follow what the trends are, or trying to be a version of somebody else, वो एक स्थिरता रखना कितनी कितनी मुश्किल है, especially इस industry में when you've got so much external noise around you.
Especially because of the social media, you see so much around you happening. And there's a lot of times when, new artists, they feel uh, FOMO, fear of
Hmm.
missing out. Oh, this artist is singing this style of music. So even I should, sing these kinds of songs. It is very difficult to, stick to your identity, stick to your style, and stick to what you do best. So that is very important. Yes, it is very difficult, but I have always uh, preferred quality over quantity. So it's always quality music, because after 10 years, after 20 years, when my son would listen to my songs, he shouldn't say, Mama, what is this song? ये क्यों गाया आपने? ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए. So he should be proud of me, and he would say, no, whatever songs my mom has sung, I'm really proud of them. And as a singer, as a musician, I feel it's my responsibility for the next generation to give them good songs, to give them quality music, even if the quantity is less. The
Hmm.
quality should always be good. Sometimes I see little children singing songs which are meaningless. They have, shallow words. Sometimes they're inappropriate also. And that's when I feel really bad that what are we, teaching our children? So that is a very conscious decision that I've made, that whenever I sing a song, I always check the lyrics, that they're clean, there's no vulgarity, there's no double meaning, and the music is quality music, so that it stays forever. And whenever they listen to my voice, they should remember me in a good way, never in a bad way.
Hmm.
And yeah, we have to take care of our future generations also, that they listen to good music.
Absolutely. I think it's paramount importance, especially with the influx, like you said, of social media, where things can be quite, let's say, misleading, because of
Yes.
there's so much noise out there, and it's very difficult to distinguish what is authentic and what isn't. But I think what I really find fascinating the most about playback singing is that you're not just there to sing a song. You're there to feel emotions. You're there to reflect those emotions of
Yeah.
that character. I think not just have you really mastered the brand of, spiritual songs in mainstream cinema, but you've also branched yourself out in singing a versatile range of other songs. Like, for example, you've had the dance songs like what Twist Kamariya, you've had a playful song like Uff from Bang Bang.
Right.
And of course you've got like songs like Bari Barsi, which kind of is like a very wonderful like middle ground between Punjabi folk and then sort of modern upbeat dance music, right?
Right.
So how important is versatility when it comes to comes to music for you? And secondly, um, what areas do you tap into yourself as a human being when you're having to reflect those characteristics through the songs that you're singing?
See, when it comes to playback singing, you're not just, the singer, you're also the actor. So I always ask, who is this song, being picturized on, and what is the situation? It's important to ask because then you won't know how to emote. So the time when I was recording Heer, I met Yash ji, I met Aditya Chopra ji, and I asked them, what is happening in the visuals? I need to know. So then Aditya Chopra, he told me that, it's Katrina Kaif, she wants to learn a Punjabi song for her dad, and she's born and brought up in London. And so I kept all those things in mind when I was recording the song. So it's important that you also act behind the mic. So playback singers are not just singers, they're also actors, so half of the job is done on the mic, and then it's up to the actor, how they take the song to the next level. So that's why versatility is very important. There are different situations in movies, and then you can't sing all songs in one style. You have to change your tone sometimes. You have to express more. Sometimes you have to you know try and find out a similar situation in your life, and then connect it with the song. So yeah, you have to do a lot of acting and a lot of work on the expressions are very important, especially for film singing.
Hmm. I'm gonna follow up on what you just said there, because like as my question was about, tapping into different areas which somewhat mirrors closely to what the situation is on screen.
Yeah.
Well, when would you say was perhaps the most challenging time for you as an artist where you had to really, reference a situation which kind of somewhat mirrors the circumstances on the film?
I think it was for Dilbaro, the Bidai song. So I
Well,
had to imagine my own Bidai, how I was feeling at that time,
okay.
when I was hugging my dad and, saying, okay, I'm going to a new house now. And, I actually imagined my own Vidai to sing for Alia Bhatt
Oh,
because
really?
I hadn't seen the visuals. So I had to imagine some visual. So I imagined myself, my own wedding, the time I was going away, sitting in the car. So yeah, that's a personal experience that I used for Dilbaro.
And another perspective I've just thought of actually whilst thinking about it now, is that you also somehow know how to, I mean, versatility to hai hi, you will, like as I mentioned, but you also learn the art of how to showcase pain through very, very uplifting music. I mean, like for example, if we take Kabira from Yeh Jawaani Hai Deewani is a prime example of that, right?
Mm.
That again is such a, I mean, it's a sad song. It's about duriyan, it's about separation, but yet there's this sense of uplifting sort of nature of the song. Dilbaro is a very good example of that as well. So again, Harshdeep, do you feel like you as an artist somehow you've also learned the art of dealing with pain through sort of a very enriched musical sense and sort of a way that helps to uplift you as well when you are going through tough times?
No, music acts as therapy. So there are a lot of times when you feel sad or you are going through a certain emotion, and there are songs that actually help you feel better. And sometimes when you sing, you don't do it intentionally, but then people come up to me and tell me that, certain song of yours, it gives me so much energy. Like how you told me about Ekonkar,
Hmm.
how Ekonkar gives you energy. Once I was in Canada, I was sitting at a restaurant, and suddenly the lady was an Indian manager. She came up to me and said, "Thank you so much." And I was like, "Why are you thanking me?" And she said, "I have a little baby, 6-month-old baby. And whenever he's crying or Whenever he's not sleeping, I play a Onkar, and
Oh.
it soothes him so much. So
Mm,
thank you. Moments like these make me being an artist feel very worthwhile.
mm,
So I think, but we don't do it intentionally. I think it is the power of music that makes it happen. And like how you're talking about sad songs, how you emote for sad songs. Sometimes the lyrics are so strong, so powerful, that when you read them, it automatically changes your mood and the composition.
mm.
So the composition and lyrics of a song are very important. They should actually be married to each other. And the singer's job is just to, you know, showcase the lyrics and the music in the best way possible through your vocals and through your expression. So half of the job is actually done when the lyrics are written beautifully and when the music is composed. So music, okay, if you talk in details, there are certain rags in Indian classical music
Mm.
that use certain notes, and the vibrations of those notes create that feeling in you.
Yeah.
So if you find a good composer, the feeling automatically comes in your voice.
Mm, that's amazing. And I'm pretty sure you probably had that sort of emotions, right? Like that feeling, like you were saying with Rahman as one of the key sort of composers, right? I mean, who else would you say actually, in addition to Rahman, so sort of has evoked that emotions with you that you're able to really resonate with the most? Who would you say is that?
So Rahman sir has been one of them, one of those composers who actually take out the best in you. Like there was this part in a song I did for him for Rang De Basanti. There's another track called Lalkar.
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah.
he wanted me to sing a few alaps in the background. And I was like, sir, that note is very high for me. I don't think I'll be able to sing. My voice will crack if I sing that high. And his response was, I want that crack. So the moment I started singing, the crack didn't come
Oh.
because, he kind of, motivated me that it's okay. I want that crack. So just sing it. So then I was carefree. Okay, aa jayega crack. To unko to chahiye crack. But when I sang, it didn't come out because I was already so confident. So this is the job of a good composer. He makes the singer feel very comfortable, and they know how to take out the best in you. There are certain composers who tell them to be comfortable. So when we're recording in this recording booth, sometimes I just switch off the lights so that if I'm making any faces while singing, nobody can see me. And we do these weird things sometimes in the studio, or you just light up a candle to set the mood. These things are very important
Right.
for recording.
Sure. And again, I don't want to make this into a gender sort of driven thing, but I think it's definitely worth highlighting is that the songs that you have sung, I feel they so beautifully reflect the mood of all the female protagonists that you sung for. You know, I think if we look at, I mean, even with, I think with Deepika would be a really good case study here, because you've had such a variety of moods for her as well. You've had Jhakmarke from Desi Boy, which was a very dancey, upbeat song. Jugni Ji, which was basically a song about heartbreak. Kabira was a song about, letting go and moving on.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it would be very fascinating to hear your insights as well, because I feel like it's very underrated in that sense. When we talk about Harshdeep Kaur, I feel like everyone talks about the spirituality side, but they don't really talk about how you've reflected those moods of the female leads very well. And perhaps this is just an extension of the emotions that you face in your life, right? So I just wanted to talk a bit more about the female leads that you've sung for and how much you've had to resonate as well with them.
Again, as I told before, I always ask who is the song being picturized on. So certain faces, they stay in your mind. So when I was singing for Deepika Padukone, especially Jhak Marke, I asked the situation, and Pritam Da told me that she's angry with John Ibrahim. He's trying to convince her. So then you kind of act and change your tone accordingly. In Jugni Ji, it was shown to be a very dark song. She was depressed and all those things. So again, the situation and how the music director is briefing you, that becomes very important. If you don't get the correct brief, then you won't be able to deliver the best.
Hmm.
So as a music director, it is very important that they explain the situation to you beautifully. If that is not done correctly, then the singer can't sing correctly.
Okay, so this would be a very interesting sort of area to explore then. Has there ever been a time where you've not had a good brief and, as an artist, you're just there with the moral duty to perform the work that you've been assigned to do, and that passion is not there? Has there ever been a case like that? And how did you cope
Yes,
with that?
there have been a lot of times, when the music director just leaves it on you. So that's where your experience comes in. You then try to, find out what's happening, and you read the
Mm,
lyrics. The lyrics tell a lot of stories about the song, about the situation. So I think that's where not just the talent, but your experience comes in. And there are certain places where the music director tells you, okay, this is a free part. You just sing an alap or an ad lib. So that's where your training comes in handy, and you can, listen to music and compose your own alap.
mm,
And that's why, people, music directors like Pritam Da, whenever you meet him, he always says that, Harshdeep, I really love recording with you because you're a very intelligent singer. And with that, he means that if I'm given a certain space in a song, I can create something I can compose something, an alap, an ad lib. So if you listen to Zaalima,
mm,
you will hear a lot of alaps in the background. So those are all created by me. It's I just try to feel the music and I compose on the spot and sing. So
mm.
that's what makes my work so fascinating. That's why I love being in the studio.
Absolutely, no, of course, and it's always great to hear your voice as well. But I think, Harshdeep, the challenge is that I think singers and artists of today, is
Mm.
AI. I feel like it's taken over the world and it's become this new monster that seems to be really going everywhere. I mean, it's also very endearing to see because I'm sure you've seen these Instagram reels where you have people singing in the voice of, like for example, Mohammed Rafi singing like Lut Put Gaya, So it's nice to see the way they synergize this. But how worried do you feel with the influx of AI? And do you think it is actually substituting human effort, especially when it comes to the creative industry?
Honestly, if it is done with due permissions taken, especially if the singer is not alive, like I've heard that Aaron Ansar is also working on a song sung by a singer who's no more, but he has taken the permission from the family and also paid the family. And that's, I think, an ethical way to do it. But I feel, there's certain songs that, the singers are still alive and, people are trying to use AI. So if it is done with a good intention, I think it's fine
Mm-hmm.
as long as you're just experimenting. But it should not be misused. You cannot, take somebody's voice and say, okay, this singer has sung the song, and do it badly. So that can actually hamper the image of a singer or any vocalist. So that way, I'm a little against it. That it should not be misused. As long as technology is being used with a good intention, I feel it's fine.
Right.
But the moment the intent goes wrong, this technology is very harmful. This is
Sure.
what I feel. It's my personal experience. It's my personal opinion. Sorry.
No, absolutely. No, I think I agree with you. But look, I know you have to I know we have to wind up, and I know you have to
Yes.
be so
You'll be
busy
hearing a
on.
lot of background noises.
Oh, but look, before we go, lines ho jaye, whichever song you wish, anything, please.
जो तेरी खातिर तड़पे पहले से ही क्या उसे तड़पाना ओ जालिमा ओ जालिमा जो तेरे इश्क में बहका पहले से ही क्या उसे बहकाना ओ जालिमा ओ जालिमा ओ Thank you.
Absolutely beautiful. Harshdeep, thank you so much for
People
joining
will
us
gather here.
on filmishilmy.com. It's been such an honor and a privilege to have you. Wishing you all the very best for your UK tour. I'm sure it's
Thank
going to be
you.
amazing
Thank you
and you're
so
going to rock
much.
the stage once again. So looking forward to that. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Anuj. It was lovely speaking to you. Have a
Pleasure.
wonderful day ahead.
Thank you. You.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you.